Hello, and welcome to Metrics That Matter October 2014 Release Overview. The enhancement covered in this overview is in the testing module. We wanted to add the ability to support a formalized content review process where anyone, not just an MTM user, can review a test and provide feedback. Some of you administering a lot of compliance testing and certifications have tests that are very subject specific. Oftentimes, the individuals creating these test forms are not always the subject matter experts. So our enhancement will allow the author of a test to request feedback from a non-MTM user to ensure that the content is accurate. Compliance-heavy organizations will have a formalized content review process to ensure that the right people put their seal of approval on the test. Some of the top benefits are that the quality of these tests are higher given that the expert will review them. The system will allow for any reviewer, since the reviewer experience is independent of MTM, so no more user logins or training these viewers to use MTM. And lastly, the simple automated process we put in place will help guide the reviewer through the process to ensure that the final content meets standards. So the process I spoke of is very simple. The author starts the process by creating the test and identifying an individual by email address to be the reviewer. Once the reviewer request is sent out, the process begins immediately. An email is sent to the reviewer asking for the feedback. They have two options. They can either approve the content with some small changes, or they can reject it with a lot of feedback. This then prompts the process to repeat itself, so the request is sent again, feedback is provided, and then they either approve or reject. Once the final approval is made, the test is ready to go to the next step where it gets published and then it gets distributed for implementation. So this slide is an attempt to illustrate the process that we just went over. Again, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. The main part is to set up your review process. So this happens on the form settings page, and there's a new section where it allows you to turn on the review process. Then you enter an email address. You can only enter one email address at a time, and this will be the reviewer. Once you've configured your content on the publish page, instead of having the publish button, you now have a send request for approval, and this is prompted because you've selected to select the test approval on the previous setting. So once everything's ready, you've got your email and you press the send request approval button, you are prompting the system to begin the review process. And that is an email goes out to that reviewer email address with a link to the survey. And we'll take a look at the survey in just a minute so you can see what it looks like for the reviewer. So you might be wondering, how do you know if the review process is complete? Well, we've added some updates in MTM. This page is the page where you select your test. Notice that we've added a new form approval status field, and this will be updated automatically based on what happens with this approval process. In this scenario, we have one that's already been sent out, so it's in pending status. Once it's been approved, that area is going to say approved, as well as if it's rejected. We've also had automatic status updates to be emailed to the author. So whenever one of these statuses changes, the system will send out an email to the author. The author's email is the email that is attached to the account. Just one thing to point out is that the test at this point is no longer editable. So while it's in the approval process, the author cannot just go in and add a new question or modify some answer options. So let's take a look in the next slide what it looks like in MTM. So in MTM, here you can see that you no longer have the options to add pages and questions and such on the left here. And also there's a new message at the very top saying that the test is pending approval. So you can take a look at the test, you can view all of the questions and such, but you won't be able to update this test at all until the approval process is complete. So this slide shows you what the survey will look like to the reviewer. So once they get that email, they get to click on the link and they'll be directed to the browser, and this will open. Basically, it is the full form. So everything's here with the addition of these links where it says provide feedback. Once selected, the drop-down will open up an area where the reviewer can enter text on what to change on the question, whether to add it, remove it, update an answer option, or whatever feedback they have. Not every question is required to have a feedback, so the person would only click on the ones that they want to provide feedback. And here at the bottom, once they're done, they can either approve or reject the test. Once that process is done, what happens is that the person, the author of the test, will get an email, and that email will show them the questions that have received feedback, so they can go ahead and update the test. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this page here is the email that gets sent to the test author. Notice that there's a PDF document attached. That PDF is exactly what the form was like with the feedback. So when this is open, and we'll take a look at it in just a second, you'll see all of the questions and the feedback provided. In the body of the email, you also notice that at the bottom you'll see all of the questions that receive feedback. So if every single question on the test received feedback, then all of the questions will be listed out here at the bottom. So let's take a look at what the actual PDF document looks like. So lastly, this is the page from the PDF document that lists out the questions and the feedback that was provided by the reviewer. So this makes it really easy to take all of the feedback and go back and put it into active authoring to make sure that the test is final and accurate. A few key takeaways I wanted to review with you before we conclude this video is that this functionality is available to all testing module administration users. One other thing is that the request can be only sent to one person at a time, but it can be sent as many times as needed. So the author can request the same person 4 or 5 times, and then go to and enter another email and request for a review from that person a couple of times. So the process can take as many times as needed. The test content is locked down, so while the requesting process is in progress, while the reviewer is giving his feedback, the test is locked down, so the author can't go in and change any questions or add or remove questions. About emails, the emails are set to go out immediately, so when the author requests approval or the reviewer gives a rejection or approval, those emails get sent out immediately. So lastly, the reviewer does not have to have an MTM account. This concludes our demo. Thank you for viewing the testing enhancement video for October 2014 release.